and thereby to accomplish unimpeded its tasks upon the earth. This is the work of evolution. It is the work that you were born to do. Chapter 11, Relationships. There are certain growing dynamics that can occur only within the dynamic of commitment. Without commitment you cannot learn to care for another person more than yourself. You cannot learn to value the growth of strength and clarity in another soul, even if that threatens the wants of your personality. When you release the wants of your personality in order to accommodate and encourage another's growth, you attune yourself to that person's soul. Without commitment, you cannot learn to see others as your soul sees them, as beautiful and powerful spirits of light. The archetype of spiritual partnership between equals for the purpose of spiritual growth is emerging within our species. This is different from the archetype of marriage, which was designed to assist physical survival, and in which the partners do not necessarily see themselves as equals. When individuals enter into a marriage, the ability of each to survive physically is enhanced. They are more capable together of finding fire, shelter, food and water, and of defending themselves, than they are individually. The marriage archetype reflects the perception of power as external. The archetype of spiritual partnership reflects the conscious journey of multisensory humans toward authentic power. Spiritual partners recognize the existence of the soul, and consciously seek to further its evolution. They recognize non-physical dynamics at work within the world of time and matter. They see matter as the densest, or heaviest, level of light that is continually being shaped and reshaped by the souls that share this sphere of learning. They consciously co-create their experiences with each other, within a live earth that loves life very much, and with a compassionate universe. Communities, nations and cultures, all of our collective creations are built upon the values and perceptions of the five-sensory personality, the values that are reflected by the archetype of marriage. They are designed to serve the physical survival of our species. They also reflect the decisions of our species to learn through fear and doubt. Our entire world is built upon the energy of the five-sensory personality that has chosen to learn through fear and doubt. Nations fear nations, races fear races, and the sexes fear each other. The exploration of physical reality, which is external power, could have been accomplished in a spirit of cooperation with, an appreciation of, the earth. Instead, we chose as a species to explore it with a sense of domination and exploitation. This is the path of learning through fear and doubt, fear of the physical environment and doubt that we fit naturally into it. Our world reflects the basic thought form that there is no afterlife, that in this lifetime the only thing that ensures power is what can be had and gained. Sometimes we speak of an afterlife, but we do not really believe that after we leave the earth we are still responsible for the choices that we have made upon the earth, or our choices would be very different. Our species is no longer humble. It has no reverence. It is arrogant and filled with its own technology. It seduces itself constantly in terms of its illusions that it is in control, and so it creates chaos and still refuses to see that it is impossible for it to control. We take from the earth and from each other. We destroy forests and oceans and atmosphere. We enslave each other, and torture and beat and humiliate and murder each other. When the archetype of spiritual partnership of individuals joined in equality for the purpose of spiritual growth emerges at the level of community, it creates values and perceptions at that level that reflect those of the multisensory personality. Just as individuals that bond in spiritual partnership and choose to express their bond through the convention of marriage infuse the energy of spiritual partnership into the archetype of marriage, and thereby create new values and behaviors within marriage. Individuals that join in spiritual partnership at the level of organization, city, nation, race and sex infuse the collective consciousnesses of these levels with the energy of spiritual partnership, and create new values and behaviors at these levels. The evolutionary process that occurs at the level of the individual is the same process that occurs at each level of interaction between individuals. When an individual invokes the energy of the archetype of spiritual partnership, not only the partnership that it forms with another individual is affected, but also its community, nation and the global village. Your decision to evolve consciously through responsible choice contributes not only to your own evolution, but also to the evolution of all of those aspects of humanity in which you participate. It is not just you that is evolving through your decisions, but the entirety of humanity. If you wish the world to become loving and compassionate, become loving and compassionate yourself. If you wish to diminish fear in the world, diminish your own. These are the gifts that you can give. The fear that exists between nations is a macrocosm of the fear that exists between individuals. The perception of power as external that separates nations is the same that exists between individuals, and the love, clarity and compassion that emerge within the individual that chooses consciously to align itself with its soul is the same that it will bring sexes, races, nations and neighbors into harmony with each other. There is no other way. Though each human being is responsible for the quality of life that he or she personally experiences, simultaneously that extends into the macrocosm. The threat of nuclear annihilation, for example, is a macrocosmic idea or notion on our Earth, and it requires the complete evolution of the microcosm in order for that to evaporate. So long as those who strive to establish harmony at the level of nations have within themselves the anger and violence that they seek to heal between nations, the harmony that they seek to create at the macrocosmic level cannot come into being. What is in one is in their whole, and therefore, ultimately, each soul is responsible for their whole world. When you commit to a spiritual partnership with another human being, you bring the energy of the archetype of spiritual partnership into the physical arena. You begin to form and to live by the values, perceptions, and actions that reflect equality with your partner and a commitment to his or her spiritual development and your own. You begin to set aside the wants of your personality in order to accommodate the needs of your partner's spiritual growth, and, in doing that, you grow yourself. That is how spiritual partnership works. You begin to see that what is necessary to the health of your partnership is identical with what is necessary to your own spiritual growth, that each of you holds the pieces that the other is missing. If you are jealous, for example, you will find that jealousy is what brings to the surface in your partner an aspect that needs to be healed, and that aspect is mirrored in yourself. You begin to value your partner's contribution to your development. You experience that his or her perceptions and observations are helpful, and, indeed, central, to your growth, that conversations between you stir deep waters. You learn the roles of love and commitment and trust in making your partnership work. You learn that love alone is not enough, that without trust, you are not able to give and to receive the love that both of you have for each other. You learn that your commitment must be translated into a form that satisfies the needs of both you and your partner. You learn to value the needs of your partner as much as you value your own, because the partnership that you both want requires two healthy and inwardly secure individuals. You learn to trust not only each other, but also your ability to grow together. You learn that you put your partnership most at risk by avoiding that which you are most afraid will destroy it. It is not easy to express what is inside you, especially that which makes you feel vulnerable or painful or angry or upset. These are the emotions that empower words that can do either damage or can do so much healing. You learn that sharing your concerns with consideration and the intention to heal and trust in the process is the only appropriate avenue. As you approach your needs with courage instead of fear, you ignite a sense of trust. The true human condition in its most perfect form has no secrets. It does not hide, but exists in clear love. You learn not to do stupid and careless things to each other. You learn that wanting what you want is not enough, but that you must both want it deeply and create it every day, that you must bring it into being and hold it in being with your intentions. As the consciousness of each of you becomes lighter, your partnership becomes richer. You learn the value of considering the other's position. By becoming the other person, by truly walking into the fears of the other and then returning into your own being again, you open up the conversation to transcend the personal and become healing at the impersonal. This allows you to see each other as spiritual playmates as you work through the areas that require healing in each of you. Even into the toughest moments of your work on feelings of insecurity, you can be light and remind yourself that you are spirits, who have taken on the physical experience and have far greater power than you are showing in that moment of weakness. The things that are the individuals to learn in spiritual union with another individual are the groups, the communities and the nations to learn in spiritual union with other groups, communities and nations. The choice in each instance is between learning through fear and doubt or through wisdom, between the lower frequency energy currents of the personality and the higher frequency energy currents of the soul. If the anger of one personality toward another creates distance, shatters intimacy and causes defensiveness, the anger of one nation, or religion, or sex toward another produces the same. If the concern of one personality for another produces closeness, appreciation and the mutual regard, the concern of one nation, or religion, or community for another produces the same. The dynamic is identical. You are related to every form of life upon this planet and beyond. As your soul evolves, you move into greater awareness of the nature of that relationship, and the responsibilities that you assume.